I'm frustrated.
At what?
Bam, we're live. I want to read. Normally, I don't read people's texts with the. I don't know if I should even start with this, but so I don't like to do. I used to listen to Howard Stern, and I thought he was great. I basically just stopped. I stopped watching him because he went woke. He just started playing the victim role, and I didn't want to be a part of that, which sucks. Because I thought I really enjoyed the show. But when he started spreading lies about the forced injections, he was already a germaphobe. Do you know about that?
Yeah.
Like crazy germaphobe.
Yeah.
And I'm not a germaphobe. Like I don't use ass gaskets. I walk around everywhere barefoot. I like to shower a lot just because I like the experience. And I like clean underwear.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah. And I change my kids' clothes a lot too because of that. So let's say I just take them out like for like a 2-mile walk, right? Let's say we would go for a walk. By the way, you have to walk your kids. Like having dogs, you have to walk them. And good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Newport Beach. Caleb, what's up, dude?
Morning, Caleb.
Oh, Sarah, I got my same complaint about Newport Beach. We'll get to that in a second. That I had last time. I think Sarah knows the mayor. I think maybe she even directly told him my complaint. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Good morning, Michelle, Shanks, Magnus. Good to see you, brother. Corey, Kenneth, Chase, Brian. So, but whenever Stern would go on other shows, I couldn't stand him. Like if he went on like Jay Leno or whenever he would be interviewed by other people, because he seemed so fake to me when he was interviewed by other people. And like the reason why I liked him is because I felt like on his show, he was so vulnerable and so real. And so I noticed when I go on podcasts, I started having that same critique. Oh, wait till you see what I saw yesterday, Sarah. Wait till you see what I saw yesterday. Crazy. These are the nicest beaches in the world, people. I probably shouldn't share this with anyone, but I'm staying in this insane place that California Hormones has. It sits right on the biggest beach, and every morning there's the most beautiful waves for beginner surfers. It's nuts. And the people here, there's no gum on the ground here. Everything's clean. It is so awesome. There's little shops and bars, and it's especially cool now because it's winter and there's no tourists here. It's so crazy. It's so nice. All the people are nice. Lots of like just chill old men here too, which I kind of like. Just, by old, I mean like my age to 80, you know what I mean? Like on rollerblades and like on those weird, like instead of riding bikes, they ride like recumbents and those elliptical bikes, shit like that. Just they're a little grumpy towards my kids, but just cool. And even the homeless people here are chill. Yesterday I sat next to it. Like I don't even know if they're homeless, but the lower class. Yesterday I sat next to a guy because I heard him talking about how his family was from, it was like a 6'6" black guy, skinny as shit, maybe probably 150 pounds. And I heard him telling another guy about how he was from South Carolina. So I just sat down next to him and started listening. I just like hearing people's stories, just eavesdrop. It was a cool story. Anyway, so there's this one podcast that I do. People ask me to come on their podcast, and there's one podcast I do. It's with a gentleman named Eddie If. He's a comedian, been on Rogan, CrossFitter, cool dude. I like him. Lives in Malibu. And I think maybe he wouldn't describe himself like this, but I think he's like a lefty, but I like him a lot. I like a lot of lefties a lot. And he invited me to come on the show, and I didn't want to do it, not because I just feel fake on other people's podcasts. Fake's not the right word, but I feel like I have to perform. Like they're inviting me on there, and I should keep the energy super high, like kind of like I'm doing right now with this show. It's got the energy through the roof.
Crazy
energy. And oh man. So here you go. We're texting now. So not today.
Oh.
So
Oh no.
My and then the other thing is I'm like a real baby about my time. I'm crazy selfish with my time. I have no problem just like I have no problem saying no to people. It happened to me in my late 40s. Like none. Zero. Yeah, Gary Roberts level energy now. I know. I'm sorry. I know it's annoying. I'm just out of jumping on my skin. Well, this yes or no, motherfucker? Yes or no, motherfucker? So,
And in your defense, usually there's so much stuff scheduled.
No show today then. Jesus. I don't know what the H is, but Jesus H. Christ. Peace and love. Okay.
All right.
So I agree to do this text on December 13th because I think it's good practice for me, and he is a really good host. Eddie is a really good host. Like if I don't carry the show, he'll run with that shit. By the way, Alexis is coming on at Landot's coming on at 7 a.m.
Yep.
And so I agree to do the show this morning, and then he sends me a text and he says, "Oh, cool. Eddie's doing a live show. That's cool." He's a stand-up comedian, a busy one. And probably his podcast has been around forever. Maybe the oldest CrossFit podcast, Wadcast Podcast. Anyway, so he says, he sends me this last Thursday. I double booked you on December 13th at 9 a.m. That's today, right?
Yes.
And he said, can you do 1 p.m.? I said, I can't. Then he wrote like something nasty to me, but that's funny, right? He called me some names. I don't want to say what, because maybe he's not comfortable with people knowing what he called me. And then I go, fair. But I still assume at that point that then he's keeping me for that spot and he's getting rid of the other dude. Not because I'm better, not because I deserve it, but because he didn't tell me otherwise.
Right.
So then if you get booked on this show, we bug you up to the point that you come on. Like we keep reminding you.
Nothing's left to chance.
Yeah. Oh, Melissa Odier saying, thank you, Sarah. Amanda has been so nice. Amanda's the lady. If you sign up for California Hormones, use the code Sevan. You'll eventually end up speaking to a woman, Amanda, who will help you schedule, your doctor's consultation and your blood work and stuff like that if you live in California. And she'll walk you through. She's just like the docent or the ombudsman for California Hormones. Great lady, pretty lady too. Great and pretty.
Yeah, met her for like a quick second last time.
She kind of looks like she kind of reminds me. This is about like Tanya Roberts. Do you remember Tanya Roberts? She was like the Charlie's Angels that came on late in the 80s.
I don't think so.
She was hot. Viet Sevan. Is that because I'm acting like a grumpy? Pick a younger picture.
That's the first one that popped up when I saw it.
Looks like she's had too much work on it. Looks like she's had too much work on her face. And like pick that one with her boobs out. Let's say Amanda looks like her in the black dress in the middle there. Yeah, that's kind of how I imagine Amanda to look. Okay, where was I? Fuck, this story's all over. I don't want to hear shit about my ADHD or anything. I'm just flowing. Shut your pie hole. You don't say that to rappers. California Home Runs, awesome experience. Awesome, Corey. I'll send you a check tomorrow. So then he says, so I assume I'm going on, and then he doesn't. All day yesterday, I don't hear from him. So if you're coming on our show the day before you come on the show, Susan will start bugging you to remind you, because we're a professional outfit with a multi-million-dollar budget.
Well, that's what we act like.
Everyone fucking has fucking 5 jobs who works here, and we get that done. So then last night at 9:12, I said, are we doing this tomorrow at 9 a.m.? No response. 5:30 a.m., I text him again today. I go, today? ? I still don't know. And I got shit I got to do. I pushed off a meeting with California Hormones I have this morning to do this fucking podcast with this dude.
And arranged the schedule, got up earlier too.
Yes, correct. So then he says to me, finally at 5:31, at 6:30, an hour later, at 6:30 a.m. this morning, 9 minutes ago, he texts me and he says, I have shows at 7, 9, 11, and 9:30. I still don't know. Am I that 9 a.m. show? I said, so not today? He said it would be tough. I wrote, yes or no, motherfucker.
Still incredibly vague.
So then finally he just writes back, I'm in the South Bay this weekend doing stand-up comedy, which is cool. I'm envious of that. God, I wish I did that. Whoop. Say that again, Caleb?
Said big whoop.
Yeah.
Do a show with me or don't.
Yeah. Anyway, so I might as well plug it. Eddie If has been on Joe Rogan, NBC, Last Comic Standing, Showtime, 97.3 Alice. I guess that's a big LA radio station. And he is performing tonight. December 15th through 18th at I think at a place called Roosters in the South Bay. Oh, in Sunnyvale. Oh, that's cool. All right. He's French. You think he's French? Eddie's French.
That explains it.
So this place I'm staying at is on the beach. And if I go outside and walk to the right, I just walk down this row of, $4 million to $20 million homes as far as the eye can see. You've never seen so many awesome places sitting on the sand. If I walk to the left, there's an ice cream shop, and then it just turns into a row of coffee shops and bars and places you can buy surfboards and skateboards and shit like that. And that's like a block of that. And then there's like a pier with like a cool little circle where people like hang out and sip their lattes and shit. And then after that, there's another row of houses as far as your eye can see. It feels like it goes to the Mexican border of $4 million to $20 million homes that just keep going. And along this beach, peppered throughout about every half a mile, there's a bathroom. And it's a nice building. It's this awesome concrete building. Looks like it could handle a hurricane. And there's men's and women's bathrooms with the cool entrances from both sides. And last time I was here, I went in there and there's no doors on the stalls. And I get it. That's some sort of thing so that homeless people don't turn those stalls into their homes, I guess.
Or like do drugs in there.
Oh, yes. And yesterday it was pouring rain, but still warm, 68 degrees, pouring. And me and my kids are the only ones out on the walk. We're just walking. God, my kids have been, there's this, what's crazy is even right on the beach, there's this one spot where there's all this like workout equipment, like pull-up bars. There's a shitload of grass that no one uses. I don't even know if it's grass. It's this really short stuff. It's green. It kind of looks like
crabgrass. I think is it crab grass?
I don't know. They keep it, and you could do all sorts of crazy shit on it. You can anyway. My boys have been wrestling like crazy there. We go there and we just do rounds of fighting. It's so awesome. And they call it the fight lawn. And then they have, and then also on the beach they have this area that's asphalted. That's huge, which has like guys playing on rollerblades, people on one wheels, the shitloads of basketball games going on. It's so cool and nothing ghetto about it. All the parking spots there are like filled with like either these fancy electric carts that everyone drives around here or G-Wagons, and Rovers. God, they love their Rovers here in Newport. Anyway, so we go into the bathroom with my son. My son says he has to go to the bathroom. It's pouring rain. We're having a blast, super lighthearted. We just accept the fact that we got caught in a shitload of rain. We're just walking, we're playing, we're fooling around. Everyone's drenched. And we walk into the bathroom because he has to take a piss with my two of my sons. And right in front of us is a stall that's opened, and there's a fucking guy sitting there I don't know what ethnicity he was. He was some like just mix of shit. Looked more Asian than anything. Probably 100 pounds overweight, with his legs wide open, with his cock and balls. He had like this little tiny cock, like this big, pointed right at us, and he's taking a shit, just looking at me.
Did he make eye contact?
Yeah, I stared at him.
It's like Caleb and his buddies taking community shits.
First of all, there's 5 other stalls he could have gone to that weren't like the one pointing at the door when I walk in.
Yeah, you probably just want to choose the one farthest away from the door.
Trish, I never closed the stall door. I know you don't, Trish. I know. Call you Trish Epstein. Go ahead. What were you going to say, Caleb? You take the one farthest. Yeah. Caleb's an expert of no stalls. Tell us, what's the protocol, buddy? What's the protocol?
Yeah. I mean, like usually you keep at least a stall between everybody. You know, you give yourselves a little bit of space, and like if there's one you don't pick the one that's closest to the door, because then if it opens and they're like,
you start from the one farthest from the door, actually.
Yeah, back to front. You fill in
the handicap one.
Like, yeah, it's just like sitting in a bus.
Yes.
And then you just go fill in back to front, every other, and then if you really need to, you fill in the one in the middle. Like if you really got to take a shit in there, you don't want to run to the next fucking toilet. Yeah.
The only reason why you don't choose a stall if there's no toilet paper.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
then you transfer.
And if it's easy, maybe you could even just grab a roll and take it to the stall.
Yes. Like when they got them.
You give each other the privacy, man.
And I just sit there and stare at him. I mean, I stared at him for like 3 seconds.
That's uncomfortable.
Yeah, I just stared at him.
You let it linger.
I even had the thought if he says anything or stands up and my boys were there, I would just kick him in the chest and like sit him back down.
They got weird. Like we just got squirrely.
Yeah, I just thought, okay, if this guy stands up and can kick him in the chest.
Front kick to the chest.
Yes, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, get a little distance. Sit him back down.
I'm okay with pinching a loaf in front of people too. It doesn't mean I just fucking like it. It's not a pastime of mine. I don't shut the door at my own house. I turn the fan on. Fucking A. And this place is so nice and they can't get stalls on the door.
I'm surprised they don't do like a really like short stall, you know, to where you could still very clearly see kind of what's happening underneath it, but you could still cover majority of what's happening too. You know
Have you ever been? Oh, you guys aren't tall enough for this. Have you ever been to a bathroom that like the walls are like neck level or like chest level?
Yeah, I can't see over, but I'm aware of people like you when you come in. I'm fully aware of that.
Yeah, you could just be sitting on the throne and you just look up and like Yao Ming's watching you take a shit kind of thing.
Yeah. The guy next to you is pulling up his pants and now you see him.
Right. Yeah. That shit's fuck. I'm like, no, I'll hold it. Because then my head's poking out of the top of the walls too, you know, if I stand up straight.
This guy's coming on the show today. He's been on the show before. His name is Alexis Landot. We've had him on the show before. I started having this feeling this morning that it's really cool what he does. He's a beautiful young man, crazy physique, very well spoken out of France. But I was thinking, man, maybe we shouldn't be giving dudes like this attention for their behavior.
Why?
Because it's just so scary what he's doing. No ropes, climbing skyscrapers.
It's so unique to me and crazy that it's like something you're drawn to. And maybe that's just me because I could look at that and like it evokes fear. Like my palms will start to get sweaty and shit, you know? It was nuts too. So the building that go ahead, what do you say?
No, you go ahead.
So there's a really big building in Barcelona, and I was like, oh, I think I've seen one of those because there's a couple of guys that do this, and there's an older guy. I think he's also French, and I think he calls himself like the Spider-Man, but he was one of the original guys that was
yeah. He's taking pictures with this guy.
Yeah, and so we went on this open bus tour, and we went by the building, and I was like, that looks like one of the buildings that these guys would like climb because you could see how you could climb it. You know what I mean? Like it didn't look too difficult the way that it was positioned. And the next day, I saw on Instagram that him and his son climbed it. And I was so pissed that I missed it because we must have missed them by like hours of him climbing that building in Barcelona. And I would have loved to have seen that in real life.
Nuts. Oh, Sarah, Remind me to tell you about Travis this morning. I spoke to him last night. He got offered to go to Istanbul to arm wrestle. And I got to tell you something about that. I got to tell you a story. So my boys. So I stared at the guy. My boys are just flanked beside me, and we just walked out and we just peed right there on the beach. Then I go, just pee right there. They're like, really? Why aren't we going to the bathroom? I'm like, we're not going in there.
It's always so difficult to explain that to kids too. They're like, why are we not doing that? There's a creepy man.
Stranger danger.
Stranger danger,
yeah. Speaking of shit you don't explain to your kids, I want to show you this. It's 300.5. We're gonna play this like 3 times in a row here for you. This is, if you don't know, if you're having trouble getting your head around what indoctrination is, what it looks like to indoctrinate kids, and that's kind of a new idea to you. This is what it looks like to indoctrinate kids. This is how you spread racism. And this is so yesterday we talked about reparations, and we all know what that is. That's to keep the black folk on the plantation. It's exactly what it is. It's to buy their votes and keep them on the plantation. And oh no, sorry, not that one. Sorry. 300. We'll do 300 first, and then we'll go to Elon's tweet. Indoctrination is when you tell kids what to think instead of how to think. That's called indoctrination. What to think instead of how to think. And a lot of people do it. I've been guilty of it, but it is a huge, huge mistake most of the time. There may be some important places to tell them how to think. Like when they're little, you explain to them the dangers of dogs. Like, hey, like you see these dumb people, you're at a dog park and there's 300 dogs walking around, and some fucking dumb parent has their kid in there who's 3 years old, whose head's lower than most of the dogs, and the kid's eating a hamburger. Like, someone needs to indoctrinate those parents into fucking how dogs work. 3 dogs come over there at the same time and they tear your kid apart to fight over the hamburger. You fucking dumb fucks. Letting your kids bringing toys to the park and putting down the slides so that the toys fly off and hit the kid in the face. 10 out of 10 times I see that shit. But let's look at this. This is just mind-boggling that someone thought that this was okay to teach their kid. And I know the Jews and blacks are so guilty of this as a whole. I know I'm speaking a bit in sweeping generalizations, but I don't think it's hyperbole. But look at this shit right here. This is just batshit crazy.
People are not treated fairly as white people. It's not fair. Are we white people? Yes, we are. Black people are not treated fairly as white people. It's not fair. Are we white people? Yes, we are. Black people are not treated fairly as white people. It's not fair. Are we white people? Yes, we are.
Okay, you see how clear cut that is? One kid is saying black people aren't as treated as fairly as white people, and it's not fair. The kid next to him is asking, "Are we white?" And the kid goes, "Yeah," and he goes, "Phew." That's how the sickness spreads. So, what do you think that kid thinks about black people now? People with colored skin. Why weren't it? If your kid asks about the color of people's skin, you pull up fucking a biology website, and you show them the biology of different color skins and what it means, and what the belief is on it relative to their biology. Not some made up shit that you think is real. Those are the same people who let their kids choose their gender. Why are you even making something imaginary? You don't ask is something imaginary real? You don't ask your kid, you don't explain to your kid that Bigfoot has fur and not hair. And how it's known because they've never found shedding or the Bigfoot has hair and not fur. And how do we know that? Well, because we've never seen the fur from Bigfoot stuck on trees and hair doesn't shed. What are you doing? Leave your kids alone. That's fucking abuse. Yeah. What kind of parent even films that? Yeah, they're basically great question, Travis. What kind of parent even films that shit so they can post it on social media? They are virtue signaling using their kids. You got your kid to think of skin color. What they did is they taught their kid that skin color is a social status. You have to always go deeper instead of some sort of biological piece.
I have the feeling that you just don't even talk about skin color or treat it as any different to anything, and you just treat each individual as they are and judge them by the character, not their skin color, and you don't even bring it up to your kids.
Yeah,
I never even remember that as a
kids
kid.
will ask. Kids will ask.
They might ask, and it's important just to say, everybody, look at you could put your skin up next to your boys, and it's going to be slightly different.
Yes.
Haley's is slightly different.
And I have done that. Look at me. Look how much darker I am than you fucking Jews.
So then you just say, like, there's different variations of it. It's weird how much stuff that people go, oh, we have to stop this. And it's like, you could just
created
just stopping it.
Yeah, you created it.
You're keeping so much life into it. You're breathing. It's like it could be a little flame somewhere, and you're just doing this until it starts just billowing and then raging. And then you're like, why are people hating each other?
Under the guise of thinking you're doing something well.
It's always that.
But you're indoctrinating your kids. Corey, hi.
What's up? Can you remember your first experience with racism growing up as a child?
Yes.
What was it?
My best friend in the 7th grade. So I used to have to write both my parents were workaholics, and my mom sent me to the good school, which was like, I don't know, let's say 5 miles from the house, because the cool school next to me had all the bad white kids in it. Because I lived in this neighborhood that was all just like, it was basically the Hells Angels fucking capital of fucking of the Bay Area. It was a little town called Pacheco, right outside of Martinez, the county seat. And big motorcycle gang problem. All the gnarly fucking white dudes with all the crazy tattoos. My neighbors would be out front fighting with chainsaws. I shit you not. One of my other neighbors got busted for being a huge cocaine dealer. And so my mom sent me to the school like 5 miles away, and I would have to my mom would drive me there in the morning with my bike on the back of her car if I was lucky, and then I would ride my bike home. And so all my friends there lived really far away from me, and my best friend was this kid named James Lee, and I fucking loved him. So it was actually sixth grade he's my best friend, and 7th grade he's my best friend. And he kept inviting me to stay the night at his house, and I couldn't, because I knew that if I would have to ride my bike there, and I just didn't want to do that on the weekend. So finally one day he comes to school and he says to me, hey, my parents think that you might not want to spend the night because you're racist. So I had to go home and fucking ask my mom what that meant. And my friend James was black. So then I was like, fuck. So he thought I didn't want to spend the night at his house because of the color of skin. So then I ended up saying, okay, I'll spend the night at your house, because I just wanted to, I'm a people pleaser. And I had the time of my life, of course, and I started spending the night at his house at least a couple nights a month, and what ended up being cool. They were wealthy. Well, they were wealthy compared to us. His dad was an airline pilot. That used to be like a pretty prestigious job. And James was like the smartest kid in our school. I fucking loved hanging out with him. He was so fucking smart. But basically, we would just go into his room and sing rap songs from the second I got there to the second I left, like for 2 days straight. We were big into this rap group called UTFO at the time. They sung their big song was Sally, that girl.
Oh yeah,
Sally, and then
Sally, that girl. Yeah, I remember that.
So that was my first. But I didn't even understand it. I thought it was just completely preposterous. I thought it was just fucking like. I seriously thought like they were damaged goods in my head a little bit. Like, wow, that would suck to think like that. I remember thinking that already in the 7th grade.
I think what it was, I remember growing up, and the last thing I wanted to be was white. I'm Mexican.
You did not want to be white.
Yeah, which is going to bring me to my next question. My dad, his first language was Spanish, but we never spoke it in the house. And I think that's why, like, I was always jealous. I wanted to be different. And so growing up, the last thing I wanted to be was white. So I always, like, wore Mexican stuff, and I have a Mexican flag in my gym, and just something about it. I wanted to be different, but I never saw, my parents never talked about race, color. My sister actually married a black guy. She's got a half. That's a different story. He ended up beating her. Not race related
because he was black.
But no, not race related. But we never saw color growing up. Never saw race growing up until I was about 15, 16, and I started realizing that I wasn't invited to these tables at lunch, and I started noticing that there were colors at tables.
Oh, the black kids wouldn't invite you.
Yeah, and I didn't understand why. Because I grew up listening to hip hop, grew up listening to rap, and when I got married,
what city was this?
I lived in Japan for 6 years.
There were black kids in Japan?
It was on a military base.
Ah, okay.
And they wouldn't invite me to these tables, and they would always hang out, and I would always try to go hang out and follow along with them. But I didn't play basketball.
Brandon's saying that Gucci Crew sung Sally.
I know the song. I don't remember who sang it.
UTFO Sally, that girl. You better not be fucking with me. Oh shit, Gucci Crew too. Okay, well we listened to them too. Maybe UTFO. Maybe UTFO sung something like. Oh, let me see what UTFO sung, because I know we listened to a lot of UTFO. Well, thank you. That's embarrassing. I always tell my wife that Virginia Woolf wrote Yellow Wallpaper, and she fucking gets so angry at me because she says that's not true either.
The only other time I felt
UTFO sung Roxanne. You guys know that song?
An even older song. Yeah. Or is it Roxanne?
No.
No,
that's the Police.
Yeah.
Hold on. I want to hear that story, but although I think our guest could come on in any second, but I want to.
Yeah.
If they do, kick me off.
I just feel like I have to validate.
Baby, don't you know I can sing, rap, dance in just one show? 'Cause I'm can't go, Mr. Sophisticator. As far as I know, ain't nobody greater from beginning to end.
Invalidating? I can't see.
I never used to know about winning, but if I was to lose, I
We're
wouldn't
gonna get in trouble.
Copyright.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
I thought you had a plan with that. It's like, oh shit, he
I was like, oh yeah, 7 seconds.
He's
8,
letting it
9,
ride.
10, 11.
There was this other song that they sung. It started. I thought it was. And we used to listen to a lot of Too Short. By the way, we listened to them on cassette tapes. There was no video back then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry. Go on. So you weren't invited to the black table at the military base.
But the second time I experienced racism, I feel, was when I met my current wife, and I remember her.
Sorry, go back a second. Were you making that up? Like, that's the thing I always wonder. Like, maybe they weren't inviting you to the table, not because, like, I didn't invite kids to the table either. I didn't invite black kids to the table. So did they think that I was racist?
We had no similar interests. I think it was making up the narrative in my head.
Okay.
Like, they went and played basketball after school, and I'm a 5'5" white kid, Mexican kid, and the last thing I wanted to do was play basketball. So, like, I just wanted to be around the loud, funny, popular kid.
Right. But you were aware that, hey, all those kids are black and they hang together, and for some reason I don't feel comfortable going over there for whatever reason. But I want to. Yeah.
Exactly.
I wanted to hang with the black kids too, actually. If you're cool, that's what you wanted to do.
But that's when I realized, as long as I felt cool and was comfortable in my own skin, it didn't really matter. I was always in the cool group, just with my certain level of confidence. And I think you've talked about it before. My biggest defensive mechanism was humor. So, I had to go to 5 or 6 different schools growing up in the military. And every single time I went to a new school, instead of punching the biggest kid, I would just make fun of the biggest kid. And then, everybody would start laughing, and then boom, I would immediately start and get sucked into the cool group. Cause I would,
Heidi's saying this caller's testosterone is 215, but you had your testosterone checked, right? It was like over 700.
900. Yeah.
900.
So California hormones is badass. Yeah. Sorry, my my voice isn't high enough. That's why I said, looking at me or talking to me, you wouldn't assume that I have that testosterone, but maybe it was tainted.
If you saw me with my shirt off, you'd think my estrogen was 1100.
Yeah, for some reason,
Little
California
kids come over and try
hormones.
to breastfeed off me.
I sent a sperm sample. I don't know if I sent the right stuff. But that was tested.
Hey, that's how you cheat your testosterone levels. When they draw blood, you just shoot a little load in there and mix it in there.
Yeah, might have said the wrong thing. My wife's family is.
So is this the let's get to the second time you experienced racism. How about that?
My wife's family's aristocrat type. Grew up all in East Coast, prominent names type family, and
play tennis.
I remember, members at the country club, all of that stuff. And I remember dating her in the beginning, and word got around that her family was not fond of our relationship because I wasn't a white guy. And so that really stung. But instead of letting that allow me break up with her and being like, oh, well, I guess I'm not going to be accepted, it was a chip on the shoulder. And because I had never been in a situation like that, and I didn't understand how that would have any correlation as to why I wouldn't be a successful person or a good husband, I used that as fuel to be like, oh, you don't think I'm going to blank? All right, I'll prove y'all wrong. And then I just started, using that towards my own advantage. So I just find it interesting that video that you showed already, some of these people are showing their kids the differences. And I also use that to not show my daughter now, those examples.
Yeah. They're going to figure it out. Yeah. They're going to figure it out. They're going to see, there's definitely cultural, things that get attributed to people's color, and you're gonna fucking figure it out, especially if you live somewhere like fucking the Bay Area or New York or Los Angeles. You're gonna start to figure it out, but you're also gonna figure out that you can't put people in these giant buckets. But I'll tell you, like I just watched a video with Alex Stein as he went to Barstool Sports. I don't know if you guys have seen that video. And there's these two girls that attack him.
Yeah,
and they happen to have melanated skin. And that is the gross part about that. That is the fucked up part about black culture that's being promoted on TV. And those women are actually living it out. And that is the reason why how racism seeps in right there. The behavior of these two melanated women, not this guy. This guy's melanated, but like he doesn't promote, you don't even think of him as that because he's not embodying what we call black culture in the United States. Which is this fucking look at. So with the irony there, that's white guys pushing down a black man who's not being violent at all. And then these two melanated women, this woman, this other woman, come out and start fucking hitting Alex Stein. It's fucking nuts. And the way they talk to him, like English is their fifth language. It's fucking disgusting. By the way, Alex is coming on the show. I'm pretty excited.
All right. Sorry, my voice isn't deep enough for Heidi, but have a great show.
Thanks, brother. Talk to you soon.
Yeah.
This is a crazy clip. You see her just slap Alex Stein across the face after 6 white dudes push down a black guy. All of a sudden to those girls, I bet you those girls are full BLM girls, but all of a sudden fucking color doesn't matter to them. One of their fellow melanated people gets pushed down by the white dudes they're with. By the way, that dude right there looks like he's juiced out of his mind. You see how red that guy's skin is?
Mm-hmm. It's about ideology. It's not about race.
Right. Thank you. Yeah. Ideology, what part of culture you embrace.
She really clipped him.
Oh, dude, it's so sad. It's so stupid. It's so obvious Alex Stein is like no physical, even though he is a really big man. It's so obvious by his body language and the way he talks that there's no reason to hit him.
If he was on California hormones, maybe it'd be more intimidating.
Does Liver King use California hormones? I'm really hoping that as he tapers,
Dog the booty hunter.
he will. He is. That would be awesome if I really was the Liver King. Sevan really the liver king. God, that would be so awesome.
Watching that.
Oh
thing,
God, that would be awesome if big media owned me. Fuck, that would be dope.
watching that thing with Alex made me hate Barstool. I already started disliking it because all their stuff on Instagram was just trash. It was like that dude on the podcast, and like they keep running these like porn stars through it. It's like overly sexualized. It has nothing to do with sports. It's literally it's trash. So I stopped following it. And then after I saw what they did to Alex, like obviously I'm partial because I really like Alex, but after seeing the way that they like treated him and how they handled themselves, I'm on like screw Barstool.
Yeah, fuck Barstool.
I'm not
Sports.
ever
I know.
fucking with Barstool.
I know.
Ever. And that's
I unfollowed him for that.
Their
That,
image,
that was
dude.
my yeah.
Yeah. Well, I unfollowed him when you know what I'm talking about. Just the big dude with the hat. He's kind of funny. The podcast guy.
I just followed him because I just wanted to know what was up with pop culture.
Oh, yeah, it's trash. So
I want hookers on the show. I'm trying. I think that's the one element this show is missing is like porn stars and hookers.
That's it. That's the last.
I mean, not the last, but we need it. Sorry, go
last
on.
piece.
Go on, Souza. Sorry. Porn always takes front seat in this show.
no, I was just saying. It's just a really bad look for them, and that's going to be tough to recover from that image. Like whether you like Alex Stein or not, like watching the way that was handled and how he was treated is definitely not going to do well for him. Alexis is trying to send his reception's tough. We were chatting back and forth a little bit.
Maybe he's on top of a building.
That would be dope. Like he just joins live and it's just the GoPro. He's like climbing.
Hey, Hunter, I'd like to do a whole show about your experience in the modeling industry and if you ever got diddled. That's a curiosity of mine. Don't teach your kids to be racist. Don't teach them not to be racist. That's how you end up teaching them on accident how to be racist. Just let them be kids.
Just
let them be kids.
Oh, we may have a reception issue here, as we just got a spinning circle right now.
Yeah, the thing is even if he does come in,
I know it's gonna be so choppy.
It's gonna be so shitty. But by the way, so if you haven't seen the Thomas DeLauer interview I did, you really have to see that interview. You have to see that interview. And the reason why is he was really moved by the Liver King stuff. It brought up a lot of memories for him about what it was like for him to be a kid. Yeah, that dude had a tough life. Like all the successful people. Look at Hunter Biden. Look how tough his life is. Alexis, you're frozen, brother. You look like you're like in some Star Wars spacecraft. Later, Hunter. There are a lot of predatory people in the modeling industry. So much. In Hollywood, there's so many predatory people. Oh, you guys want to hear a crazy story? I have this in my notes. Yeah, we're not gonna get them. Ask them. Will you ask them if we need? I have no idea why my connection is so bad. Do you want to reschedule?
I was saying WhatsApp's taking like 5 minutes.
When you're on your couch at home, that spot was money. You think that's too much slang? That spot was money for a French guy?
No, I think the context makes sense there.
Get Hunter on. I know we need to reschedule Hunter.
It's not
I was actually really impressed with Hunter, and Hiller, when we had Gary Roberts on.
That show was hilarious. There's so many times that I'd like literally was just like laughing so hard watching that and the dynamic between all of them.
The thing is that like Hunter and Hiller and myself are showmen. Like we know how to get on stage and do and like juggle balls and like hop around on one foot and like, you know what I mean, to turn a fucking paper towel into an airplane, and we got tricks. Gary is like more like when you go to the circus and to the county fair and there's the bearded woman. Like he can't turn his shit off. He's like the three-legged dog. It just is that way. It's not a show. It's just, you know what I mean? It's just like I can't take my beard off.
So many people DM'd me about him, just saying how crazy he is.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh,
Yes, it's working.
ah.
I'm so sorry. My connection was so bad. I don't know. My WhatsApp wasn't even working, so I could not tell you guys. Oh, it's not working.
Alexis, you're not at. Last time we interviewed you, I think you were at your parents' house, sitting on the couch with your girlfriend next to you. This looks like a different location.
Yeah, I'm on my other home, which is the climbing gym, which
Oh.
is my other home.
Hey, congratulations! By the way, you're finally getting the notoriety and the views that your adventure and your accomplishments deserve.
Oh, thanks. That really means a lot.
Yeah.
I keep working for this, but my next goal is to now get more views and subscribers on YouTube. But that's a whole other story, to be able to really make people like your content on YouTube, so they watch longer videos. That's harder than on Instagram.
I had this thought this morning. This is pretty aggressive of me. I apologize for. Usually I lube people up a little bit, but I'm going to be pretty aggressive towards you this morning. I had this thought this morning that what you're doing is so intense, right? No safety ropes, climbing skyscrapers. I was wondering. I was like, shoot, I know from the interview I did for you that you would do this regardless.
Yeah.
Like we penetrated pretty deeply into your mind, and this is something that you do for your own reasons. By the way, if you haven't seen the first interview I did with Alexis, it's fantastic. And he really explains the nature of his mind and why he's doing this and what it fulfills for him. But I was thinking this morning, I was like, because I have kids, I was like, man, we're giving them all of this attention for this thing that requires you to take such, what appears to us is the biggest risk probably any human being could take, right? I mean, the risks you're taking to the outsider, to the layman like me, seem absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's true that it's a big risk, but the good thing is that if when you asked me that, I think you meant do I get pressure from other people to do some stuff?
Yeah, should we not be watching you because it supports your smoking habit? You know what I mean?
I see
climbing skyscrapers.
Well, the good thing about that is that actually the hardest challenge I set, the easiest it looks. So if I want to impress people, I can just climb the easiest building I can find. So that's the good thing about what I do is that. So for example, I have a goal now to do really, really hard and dangerous challenge, But the good thing is that I know that I'm doing this for me for the simple reason that it doesn't even look good on the camera. It doesn't even look impressive on the camera. So I know that I'm doing this for me because this particular skyscraper, it won't impress anyone except myself.
Right.
And on the other hand, if I get pressure to do more and more crazy and beautiful image, dangerous image, then I know I can just do the easy climbing, the easy skyscrapers. I mean, easy. The one I've already done in the past, who represents a less bigger risk than what I'm doing now and what I have for the future as plans.
What is there a building that you've climbed the most? Is there a skyscraper? I think last time we discussed there is a skyscraper you've done at least twice, right?
Yeah. So I've done the Montparnasse Tower 3 times. And I've done also the Total Tower twice.
And those ones, when you do it multiple times, I got the impression that part of the reason you do it is to do it with different people. Is that correct? So someone else will want to do it, and you'll say, "Okay, I'll do it with you." Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons, because it's even if it's the same skyscraper, it's the same route. It's always cool to have different experience from it. So sometimes I climb a skyscraper by myself alone, and then I'll climb with somebody else so I can get other memories, other memories. Different experience.
Is there a rule that you should each have your own lane in case the guy on top falls, he doesn't knock the guy on the bottom off? Is there a rule like that?
Well, that would be the most secure. That would be the good idea. But for example, when we climbed the Montparnasse Tower for the second time with Titouan, my friend Titouan, he climbed just on top of me. So if he fell, I would have fell with him. So I had to trust him 100% on this one. But usually we're trying to not climb on top of each other. But sometimes we don't have a choice.
Heidi says, does it freak you guys out to talk to Alexis, keeping in mind that every time we talk to him could be the last time because of how dangerous his craft is?
Well,
I think that about everything.
Fuck us. How about his parents?
Yeah, I think you guys trust me, right?
Absolutely.
I 100% trust you. I can't. You're from what we could, the little we can see on Instagram. It looks like you take this extremely seriously, and that you do not live a balanced life. You're 100% in. You don't have distractions. I never see you like at the bar. I never see you doing anything that looks like it's not part of honing your craft. Like your whole life is realizes the importance of. I mean, your body is your tool. And it looks like you treat your body like the most important tool that there is.
Exactly. So it's true that like my whole life is dedicated to this. So I'm trying to get nothing to be like in my way mentally and physically. And also I've, before in my life, I've saw my body like as a tool that I can use to perform, which, works pretty well on short term, but it's not the best idea on long term, because when you think short term, you think like your body as a tool that you can use. But when you think long term, your body and your goals, your health, everything becomes like a whole. And I think it's much safer and much healthier on the long run. And it will lead to ultimately on the long run, better health, better progress, better motivation. So I'm trying to keep my body as the number one priority in my life, but not trying to see it as a tool that I can just use and, break if I need to, because that's on the long run, it's just unhealthy. And now that this is my main job, I don't have a choice but to think on the long term.
Have you, I don't think we talked about this in the last show. There's these Wim Hof breathing methods. Ice baths have become very popular.
Yeah.
Rolling out. Do you have in regards to your body, a protocol that you are growing as you get older that helps you take care of your body better?
I'm trying to eat well. I haven't been eating too well this last month, but I'm trying to eat well, which doesn't mean eat salad and just salad, because people often mistaken what eating well means. By the way, sorry if my English isn't the best.
Dude, you're amazing. You're amazing.
That's great. It's great.
I don't even know if mistaken is a word. Yes, it's a word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But a lot of people make the mistake of thinking that eating salad and not eating meat, not eating eggs, not eating fat is good, but it's not healthy. I'm trying to eat not too much sugar, not too much carbs, some fats, some protein. I'm trying to eat well, and I avoid refined products. This is like my number one rule.
We awesome. I'm trying to incorporate that too. Just no processed. Try to eat as little processed food as possible.
Yeah.
Just eat whole foods. And we on the show are also a huge proponent of eating healthy fats and healthy meat. Meat that's prepared properly.
Yeah,
We had a
steak. Yeah.
We had a guy on recently who said this, and I've known this, but he said it really well. His name's Tanner Shuck. He's a trainer out of Dubai. And he said when he was speaking about CrossFit athletes, but I know it has to be the same for you. It's the same with marathon runners. That you have to, when you're about to execute at the highest level, you need to be basically as lean as you possibly can be while still being healthy. And you see that in marathons. The guy who wins the marathon is always dehydrated. When you watch the CrossFit games, these guys are skin and bones, right? Like you can see every muscle on them. And I'm guessing it's got to be crazy important to you too, right? If you're 5 pounds heavier than you're used to in climbing, that's a lot of wear and tear in a building that's 600 feet tall.
Yeah, so you got everything right. It's a big it's a big subject actually for my life, for my training. Is that I'm trying. So my goal is to have to make the smallest changes as I can for each climb, because I think it's healthier to just keep one body and maybe lose 1 kilograms or 2 kilograms, but not more. But sometimes I'm gonna have in the future to lose more weight than that.
How tall are you?
I'm 1 meter and 70 centimeters.
And Caleb, can you do the translation on that for us?
Conversion.
And how much do you weigh?
I weighed 65 kilograms.
And what's the most you've ever weighed, Alexis?
Oh, so I've weighed 72 kilograms when I was trying to gain more mass, trying to get stronger. I was hurt from climbing, so I decided to just go, full bulk mode.
Okay, so you're 5'9", so you're not short.
Well, I am short.
You're normal.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm 1 meter and 70, not 76.
So you are short.
Yeah, I'm short.
God, that would be awesome
short.
if you were shorter than me. That'd be awesome if you were shorter than me. Oh, 5'7". Okay, I'm still shorter than you. Damn.
Oh, wow.
You don't need to say, oh, wow, when I tell you I'm shorter than you, Alexis.
And how much do you weigh?
I'm probably 160. I'm probably 165. I weigh more than you.
Oh, yeah. Almost 10 kilograms more than me.
Yeah. I'm a chubby old man, though.
Don't say that.
Alexis, there's this clip of you that I thought was fascinating. It's the one on the very bottom, Caleb. And when you're climbing, I can hear you breathing and kind of making noises when you breathe, like the way a martial artist makes noises when he strikes, or when my kids play tennis, when they hit the ball, I hear them grunt. Can you explain this to us? We're going to play the clip for people at home real quick.
All right.
And so there's these, you sound like an air compressor, like you.
Yeah. So there are a few reasons.
Yeah.
There are a few reasons. The first one is it's almost like a reflex when you do like a hard movement to just push air out of your mouth so you can contract your core muscles. That's something I do when I train, especially because I train a lot on roof climbing, which you need basically all the time to get your core stabilized. So that's the first reason. The second reason is because it's important to have a good breathing, to push air as you train, so you don't run out of oxygen for your muscle. Otherwise, I would, my muscle would like dry, and I will start, my fingers will start to open. So I have to use my breathing correctly. So just breathing in and out all the time to be oxygenated. But that being said, I don't need to make noise when I breathe, but I'm choosing to make noise so it sounds good on the camera, because I know the viewers like to hear what's happening.
He's a showman.
I know the viewers like to hear what's happening, so
yes.
Most of the time I'm breathing, I'm like, but you don't really hear it. And 1% of the time I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make a little bit more noise when I do that, so people can hear what I'm doing. Because like if I had a mic like really close up to my mouth, people would always hear like. But the fact that it's only a GoPro, you don't really hear what's going on. So I'm pushing a little bit more the noise of my mouth, so people can really see what's going on when I'm climbing. Because I know people like that. It works really well when I'm either explaining to the people something, or when I'm just like they see what's going on, like they get more context behind the climb than just seeing an impressive stunt.
The GoPro sits on your forehead always.
Yeah,
that's always the spot.
Yeah, it's on my forehead.
have you ever get to the top and you realize you forgot to hit record or you ran out of card space? It has happened.
So something similar happened. So a few times my GoPro just shut down, shuts off before the end for no reasons. So that's pretty annoying. There's another thing is that one day I climbed in Barcelona, and I realized when I started climbing that I forgot to put my GoPro on. I actually with me, on my forehead. So I just climbed without the GoPro, but that's okay. It's a really easy climb, not really interesting, especially with the GoPro shots, not really interesting. So no regrets.
How high up were you when you realized you forgot to put the GoPro on?
Something like 20 meters, but it wasn't a big problem. Like I was like, oh, I didn't bring my GoPro, but I just did this climb for fun, not for get footage of the GoPro. So it would be much bigger problems in the future, or like for my most recent climb, where I really need my GoPro.
Are you sponsored by GoPro?
No, I wish. I think I'm doing what I'm doing is way too dangerous for GoPro to sponsor, I guess.
Right.
Like,
okay.
It's not even official, It's not an official sport. What I do is like, it can be seen as just reckless and just dangerous for nothing, for big brands. But maybe one day I would love to.
It would be a huge mistake to call it reckless, because if it were reckless, you'd be dead already.
Yes, I agree, of course.
So you can't call it reckless.
No, it's actually exact. I think it's like it's perfect. It has to be perfect.
It's so precise. Yeah, it's kind of the opposite of that.
Yeah. I have to do always. Every movement has to be like thought of before the climb. I have to think of everything. I have to plan everything. For example, on my last climb, I knew there was a part that I could not train beforehand, so I had to like do it in my mind and think and get I thought about what I would do up there, and I just learned it by heart without even doing it before.
And what was that? Can you tell us what was it a transition?
Yeah, so it's a place where normally when I finish a climb, the top is like this. So
this one right here in the video where you have to transition there.
The pose here is perfect. The pose is perfect. It's exactly on this movement. I have to put my feet where my hands are and just push with my hands and feet at the same time while trying to not lose balance, because otherwise I would just fall backwards. So it's and plus we don't see it from here, but there's the holes are different. The holes are not something you can put your fingers on. You can just pinch like this,
Yeah.
You can just pinch on the sides. So that part of the climb was way more extreme than all the other floors before.
Let's talk about this in more detail for a second. So you're telling me that you transitioned there from vertical to a slight angle, and you could not practice that anywhere else. There wasn't somewhere lower on a lower building. Did you even know what it was going to look like? So I knew how it would look like because I sent a drone up there. I saw that the finger holes were gone on the second part of the building, where it goes like this. But I knew that I could get the pinch, on both sides of the windows, and bring my toes where my feet are, so I can push and pinch at the same time. Get my body up and clear this movement, even if I didn't train it. Like I knew exactly what to do, even if I hadn't trained beforehand. So I'm picturing like 5 of your friends sitting around in a living room in front of a TV set, and you guys are looking at this drone footage, and you guys are sitting there starting it, stopping it, pausing it, and like basically you guys are studying, okay, what's it going to look like here?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Except we were like, I remember that I was with my friend Leo, and we were thinking about doing this climb, and in the end he wasn't really interested. He didn't like, same as me, the fact that we couldn't train the upper part of the building. But after a few months, I thought a lot about it, and I thought to myself, I'm gonna try it. It should be fine, and if it's not fine, I will just go down.
Oh, you
I'm
would
not
have
gonna
gone
lose
down.
anything.
You
Yeah,
would
yeah,
have
yeah.
gone down.
Yeah, I trained on this one enough so that if I needed to go down, I'm able to do it. But it would have been hard. It would have been a real problem, to be polite. but it was still a possibility.
It- oh, barefoot too. We got to talk about that too.
Oh yeah.
So when you do that, you get up there. For people who don't know, we talked about this in the other show. One of the training regimens that Alexis does is he'll just go to a building and he'll go up a couple floors or just one floor and back down, and he'll do that forever. And so that way he's developing, even though he doesn't have to take a lot of risk. He may be only 20 feet off the ground. He just goes up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down.
Exactly. Yeah, we can see that on my. I create a story, an highlight story that says urban training, and we can see that I go down, up, down, and it can seem like ridiculous from the outside, but it works pretty well because nothing prepares you more to do a specific task than doing this task and just putting yourself, constraints, until you can't, until you're too tired to continue.
And in that, what are you doing up there at the top? You move your hands around up there too, like you're getting in some extra training. Like you were lowering your hand, like when you get to the top before you went down, you did something with your hands. What are you doing there? See that thing you do there?
Oh,
is that you're just readjusting for the descent?
Yeah, I'm letting go one hand to just getting some getting some rest in one hand. So the good thing is that I can let go one hand and rest it, and then grab my other hand and let go the other one, etc.
Something you want to practice when you're not 500 feet off the ground.
Yeah, but it's also important to practice when you're a bit higher, because sometimes you can feel confident when you're down there because you're like, okay, I'm good. I can let go one hand, easy, no problem. But as soon as you go up, you realize that you're slipping a little bit from the skyscraper, and that you actually can't let go one hand really safely. So when you're up there, the feelings are so different because each drop of sweat on your feet or on your hand, anything, you get this feeling, but multiplied by 100. Everything is multiplied. Everything is bigger. So it's important to also go up so I can see how it feels to be there, and if I'm really okay letting go one hand at 10 meters, because to do that at 2 meters is something, but to do this at 10 meters is something else. So it's important to have physical training for each building like this, but also a mental training, and just knowing how your body and your mind respond to this particular skyscraper. So for this, it's important to go high up and just see how it feels. Not necessarily a little height, a little height, but a height that is enough to bring you to the hospital, so you're sure that you don't want to fall at all.
Are you suggesting, which would make perfect sense, that there becomes a point on the climb that you have a self-awareness that's elevated beyond what could ever be experienced? Because
for sure.
Somehow intuitively your body knows that now you're 200 feet off the ground, and even though you didn't tell yourself to become this aware, you're hyper aware. And and you have to practice that ability to be that hyper aware that itself can become maybe disorienting.
Of course, yeah. I think it's something really important for me to separate feelings from emotions. Once I'm up there,
you mean feelings like tactile feelings versus emotions? Okay,
exactly. So especially in English, feelings can mean what you feel like, and if I do this, I'm gonna be hurt. I'm gonna feel hurt. And feelings like emotions, I feel sad, I feel good, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Once I'm up there, I have absolutely no emotions, zero emotions. Like I said on the previous episode, there's no room for emotions. Basically, no room for anything except pure logical.
What if I yelled at you from the bottom, Alexis? You have a tiny dick. No, you won't face you. You won't get it. Hey, asshole, shut up. You won't get angry.
I won't hear it. It's crazy. I won't hear it. If I have to be focused enough, I will not hear it. I can promise you that. But at the same time, I have no emotions. But I will have a really big sense. All my sense will be multiplied. Like my sense of touch, my sense of hearing, my sense of anything, like any feelings is multiplied. The wind that comes on your face, you feel it's like a lot. A single drop of sweat that comes on my hand, I will feel it. Anything, I will feel it. So it's a really weird sensation.
It sounds like it's like being on psychedelics.
Yeah, it's like all my sensations are multiplied, and it feels like meditating.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
It's like I see myself on like the third perspective, almost. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but yeah.
I fully get it. There's times where I'm sitting still and I can actually feel a bead of sweat come out of a pore.
Really?
I'll cultivate so much awareness, that I'll feel a bead of sweat come out of a pore. And it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. But it takes a long time to get there and a lot of practice. And what you're saying is you go up that high and you get it induces that state.
Yeah. That's
Nuts.
pretty much it. I go up there, and like even like my forearm that would start to burn or start to get tired, I will feel it before it actually gets tired. Whereas if I'm next to the ground, I mean, I will not listen to my body as well as if I'm up there, because it's crucial for me to anticipate anything that could comes along. Whereas like my forearm burning, or my sweat that would start to make me feel slippery, all those things I have to anticipate.
Caleb, can you pull up the word addicted? I want to see what the definition is. See, before I use it on you, my question is going to be: do you think that you're forming some sort of addiction to this sensation? Let me read. Addiction is physically and mentally dependent on a particular substance and unable to stop taking it without occurring adverse effects. Do you think that maybe if you weren't able to do this, it would severely bother you?
Oh yeah, if I was not allowed, I don't know if for some reason,
like if they got rid of all the buildings in the world,
I would be pretty pissed off. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I also love rock climbing outside, but it would be it would make me really sad. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I think it's not like I'm not addicted, but I just love feeling this control. I love it too much to stop. And maybe I'm addicted on one particular climb, actually, which is the Montparnasse Tower. Like I talked about it earlier.
The one you've done 3 times?
Yeah, I want to do it again and again and again and again. I mean, it's so perfect. It feels like it has been made to be climbed, because it's not too hard, but it's not too easy. It's really high. It's beautiful. There's no other skyscrapers that even come close in terms of being like massive like this and high. It's in the center of Paris. I mean, it's just beautiful, and the climb is amazing. It feels amazing. I want to do this again and again, and I think I'm addicted to this specific climb, actually.
What's the closest? Are there rules for the drone operator? Like, hey, don't bring the drone within 30 feet of me, or are there rules?
I mean, I like to live my life based on trust. I mean, I either trust someone or I don't. For example, I don't trust anyone to belay me on rock climbing. I don't trust any equipment. I don't trust being in a car with somebody else. But I trust when my friend is climbing below me, and no, when I'm climbing below my friend. I mean, you get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I trust. In this particular case, I trust, because I'm okay with letting go 100%. The thing is that I either have to not let go at all, or absolutely let go everything and put my whole life in somebody else's hand. So this is why I think I love also the sport so much because when I'm doing this, I'm the one controlling my life. I'm the one. I don't have to trust anybody else except me or my friend, on which I trust. Same in me. I trust him as much as me. So yeah.
Are you still with the same? Do you still have the same girlfriend you had last time?
Yeah.
It's interesting you said that about complete loss of control or complete control. Are you difficult to get along with?
I think I'm pretty introvert, as a lot of people are. I'm trying to be more extrovert, especially for YouTube, for podcasts like these ones.
Yeah.
I'm trying to show more my personality, be more exciting to be with. But I think I'm hard to get along with. I think my girlfriend.
Like if she took the trash out instead of you, and she put the trash can on the curb in the wrong spot, would that be something that you would be like, no?
No. I don't put importance in my head on these things in life.
So you're not a control freak, because I was starting to picture you as like a control freak. Like if she overcooked your eggs, you might flip out, or if like she made the bed but you have to make the bed, you would be like, no, I do that.
Oh, she has to make the bed. If I touch the bed,
she has to. So she's the control freak. Perfect.
Yeah,
okay.
But only about the bed, not
okay.
On the other stuff she's not. But about the bed, it's like religious. The bed has to be made this way, not like this. So I'm not allowed to touch our bed. I'm not allowed to make our bed. but the thing is that I think I'm getting bored a lot with a lot of people. Like if some people like talk to me about their stuff, and I know it's really mean thing to say that, but I'm just being honest. Most people when they talk about their life, it's just extremely boring. Like it's absolutely boring.
Oh my god, my post only got 37 likes. Oh my god.
Yeah, but and recently I talked with a friend, and I know that it's possible to talk with, like, I know I'm not a dick, because when somebody
your English is great, by the way. When you can say I know I'm not a dick, that's some good ass English.
Yeah, that's good.
Thanks. I know I'm not a dick, because if somebody has an interesting story about them, I can listen for 3 hours straight without even like saying a word. Like I had some guy recently. He's a journalist, independent journalist, and he went to Ukraine to film like the horror and the war, and he told me the most like extreme and interesting at the same time things. And he was one of the first journalists, and he saw things absolutely like that you didn't even see in the media, because like he couldn't even take some of these things in pictures, because when you reach some level of gore, you can't like take pictures. It's just too horrible. But he told me like some insane stuff that he saw, that he lived, like anecdotes, even some things that are not too depressing. Yeah, sorry, I just the whole podcast now just took another turn. But yeah, he told me like even some funny anecdotes, like some Ukrainians, a soldier like bit him, punch him because he thought he was a spy and stuff like this. So he has a lot of stories to tell, and that was extremely interesting. And I just listened to him for like 3 hours. But
should I have him on the podcast? Should I have him on the podcast?
Well, I can give you his contact. Like,
perfect,
he has a lot of stuff to talk about.
I'll bug you in WhatsApp afterwards.
And he's a really interesting person. Like he has a lot of things to say, and we can talk hours with this guy. So yeah, it's really cool. But when somebody talks about their dogs and how their dogs are cute, like I don't know how to say this, but I really could not give like, I don't know if I'm allowed to drop the F-bomb here, but I don't care at all. I don't care at all. Like, and I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm hard to live with, because a lot of the time when people will talk to me, if it's not interesting, I'm not going to pretend. And I think that's my biggest. How do you say in English? The opposite of quality is
a flaw.
A flaw. Thanks. So yeah, my biggest flaw is that if I'm bored, I'll be like that. And I will not pretend to be interested. So that's why I'm hard to live with.
That's called
like,
having integrity and being sincere. Also,
yeah. Well, thanks.
I just interrupt people when they're boring.
Yo, wow.
I just interrupt them.
Oh, great. What does that say for me? I interrupt it all the time.
I'll interrupt people even when they're not boring. How's that? Okay, so no rules about how close the drone gets to you. You trust the guy. Has he ever flown it too
everything is
close
based
to
on
you?
trust.
Has he ever flown it too close to you?
Yeah, once he had a
What?
problem with the drone, and the drone almost crashed into me. But everything was fine. I just decide that I'm not thinking about this. It's like I said, it's binary in my head. I either think about it or I don't. And in this case, I decide to trust him. But now he's getting more and more professional. So like my most recent drone shots are really good. So now I know I can trust him. Like he's not gonna go on me, and he's buying a lot of really good quality drones. So I'm good now. But what I don't like is when some guy shows up a few hours before my climb and comes to me and say, "Hey, can I film with my FPV drone?" And just it makes noise. It makes the other drone shots less beautiful because there's always something in the way. Like it's annoying because when I climb, I know it can seem a lot very egocentric, but it's my project.
Yeah. Hey, dude. There's a bit of presumptuous and assholeness to actually think that you're gonna send a drone up with a guy who's putting his life at risk that you've never met before. I mean,
Exactly.
it already shows a little bit of a bad character trait.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because it's also because people don't understand like that what I'm doing is with sport. Like I'm putting my life in danger because some of those people are. I mean, the people that film me are like from urban exploration, which they are really nice people. But some of those people that I don't know, they don't understand that what I'm doing is not the same as they do. There's actually a chance that I fall and I just die. So they just, for them, it's just another day of urban exploring and flying drones everywhere. But for me, my life is on the line. So I don't even blame them. They just don't understand that. So that's why when I climb, especially for my next climbs, I want only my drone operator in the sky, in the air, in the air traffic, nothing else. Because, first one, I don't trust somebody else than my drone operator. The second one, come on, it's my day. You'll be doing that later, but let me climb, bro.
How many urban climbers are there? Less than a dozen?
I think there's a lot of urban climbers in a way that a lot of people do, like urban bouldering or urban.
I mean, guys who go over 10 floors on the outside of a building.
Yeah.
How many
like
guys are there?
Urban people that do urban climbing free solo, so like urban free solo. Especially now, like 4.
5 in the world.
Yeah, 4 or 5. Because like there's 2 guys in the UK, but they're not specialized in urban climbing. And to be honest, like I'm not being mean, and I respect them for what they do, but they've never climbed like a hard skyscraper or like a real, like a real challenge, So I don't know if we can consider them like a skyscraper climber, but even if we take them in those 5, just Alain Robert, me, Leo, those 2 guys, my friend Titouan, so like between 4 and 6 in the world,
Are there always police waiting for you at the top? I know I asked you that before, but I know people like to hear the answer to that.
Well, not always. The thing is that if security sees me starting to climb, then they will call the police because they have no other choice. Otherwise, they might get in trouble. But if the police come, it's not their problem anymore. They're out of trouble. So this happens. But the thing is that the security and the police, they almost always say, on my last climbs, it's always the case. They say, "Wow, this is great. I hope you're gonna not get in trouble. That was so cool. Like, bro, can we take a selfie?" Like I've taken a few selfies with the police officers and security guys. It's like they always say to me that's really cool.
Alexis, don't you need to get caught? Because what if you're on the roof
Yeah.
and you don't get caught? How do you get the door open to go down?
That's exactly what I was going to ask. Yeah.
That's a good question. So The last times I climbed, it was two buildings that are less famous. Really interesting climbs with less famous building. So nobody actually saw me climb except the security. On the first one, nobody saw me climbing. Like some people saw me from the ground. They like took pictures and stuff, but nobody like saw me climb. So I reached up the top, and I entered in the building. So I
The door was
triggered-
open.
Yeah, the door was open from the
Wow.
inside, and I triggered a silent alarm. So the security was looking at for me from inside the building, and they had no idea how I came in. They thought I was like a thief, that came. No, and I had to when they caught me, because they almost didn't caught me. I could have escaped, but they locked the door from the inside on the first floor. I was thinking about exit on the first floor, like the ground floor. I mean,
Like a regular
my-
person, you were going to exit on the first floor.
yeah. So I could have done that, and it would have worked, but it wasn't a Sunday, so it was closed. So like, no, it's closed. And then I took a look at the ceiling, and I saw that there was a red light doing this. So I understood that I triggered a silent alarm. So I thought, I'm either going to sleep here and there's nobody inside, or there's a security inside, and I'm gonna have to find a way to either escape or explain to them how I got inside. And when I saw them, they weren't even like looking at me, because I tried to exit from the back, which was really hard. It took me like half an hour in this maze with no lights. Yeah, I forgot to say, absolutely no lights. Like I was like almost blind, touching the walls, trying to understand where I was. And when I saw a guy from the security, I immediately told him, hey, I'm cool. I climbed. I'm cool. I didn't steal anything. And he didn't believe me that I climbed. He thought I was a thief.
Can't he
Not-
tell
Yeah.
by looking at you? I mean, it's kind of odd. I mean, you have weird hands. You're covered in chalk and shit.
Yeah,
You're
chalk
fucking.
bags.
You look like you've just been in a fight. You're all sweaty and your clothes are all jacked. And
That's true. But he couldn't believe that I free soloed the skyscraper from the
Right.
inside. Because, and also a lot of urban explorers, they go inside and then they go to the roof, they take pictures, and then they live from the inside.
okay,
But
and those
so-
are urban explorers, right? And we've seen those guys. Okay,
Yeah, and they thought I was one of them because they couldn't believe that I climbed from the outside. I just climbed the building. So at first they tried to lock me in. So that was pretty weird. They tried to lock me. One guy tried to lock me inside a closet. So I immediately told him that's illegal. I mean, you're not even like police officer. You can't like lock me inside of a closet. That's in French we say séquestration, which means like
séquestration. Yes, I'm familiar.
yeah,
with that.
like when you like lock somebody inside a room or lock somebody inside something against its will. So it's a big crime.
Yeah,
So-
kidnapping or something.
Hostage,
Yeah.
holding
So I told
hostage.
him, hey, don't do that. Plus, I got a GoPro. I'll be filming myself from the inside. Don't do that. We're both adults. Let's just talk. Let me explain. And I told him like, hey, type my name on Google, because this way you can believe me. You'll find like articles and video. So he left. 2 minutes after, he comes back and he shakes my hands like, bro, you're amazing. It's crazy. Like you really climbed this building we're in. Like you climbed from the outside, and then he believed me, and he saw like videos, and he asked me for a selfie. So funny story that when he looked at the camera, he was like, "Hey, it's not cool, etc." And he said, "Come on, follow me." And we went in another room where there's no like security camera. And then he said, "Wow, bro, you're amazing." He shook my hand. He asked for a selfie, and when he left, and he passed by this camera, he was all professional again, because I think he was scared of his boss looking at him taking a selfie with me. Like he would be like, "Hey, what the fuck you're doing?"
Yeah.
you're taking a selfie with the guy that break in. But so he called the police. The police was like, "Hey, that's cool. Follow us." And when I left, they just told me, "Hey, have a good night." And
That's
I
it.
asked them, "Hey, you're not bringing me to the police station or anything? Like, what's happening now?" He's like, "Hey, it's in a sensitive neighborhood." So he told me, we're in this neighborhood. we got other stuff to do.
Wow.
So we just left because it's a place with a lot of crackheads and stuff like that, So
Yeah, we know what those are. We have a lot of those here.
Yeah.
You don't so you don't take a cell phone on the climb?
No, I don't know. I try to be as light as possible. Before a climb, I try to lose a few weights, lose water weights. So no, I don't take any cell phones. I'm trying to be really light.
Right. No headlamp.
No, nothing.
Nothing. You have your bag of chalk, the tape on your fingers, and and your minimal clothes.
Yeah, sometimes climbing shoes. Sometimes I don't have climbing shoes.
If wearing shoes barefoot. When did you start going barefoot? How did that start? Were you doing that last time we talked? Were you going barefoot?
Yeah.
Oh, you were okay.
But it depends. Sometimes it's easier to climb a building barefoot. Sometimes it's harder. For example, if the horizontal ledges are really small, I can't go barefoot because I can't use my toes to grab the thin ledges. But if I'm okay with being barefoot for some reason, like on this one, there is no horizontal ledges. There's just a few how do you say, like a few cracks like this, and I can't put my shoes in it. Like the crack is too small. It's like this, so I can barely put my big toe in it. So this is why
I cannot believe these pictures. It's
it's
unfathomable that you're actually holding on by there. And all the people who listen to my podcast are pretty fucking strong people. And this is just nuts. Cool. Yeah, this is just nuts. It's like a regular person can't even go up one floor, right? Like that's just not enough, right? You just can't.
That's fucking thick.
Yeah, it's it's like everything is training. Like I think it's a beautiful expression of how we work, as humans, even as animals. It's like our body and our mind adapt to a specific environment. And yeah, you can see on this screenshot that I can barely put my big toe in this really small crack, and I was not able to fit my shoes. Like I tried, it didn't fit. I realized that when I was barefoot, I could really fit my big toe. Plus, the climb was easier. Like when I actually climb, when I'm barefoot, I can use my feet on the glass.
You stick more.
It sticks more. It's more grippy, so it's better. On this one, it's better to be barefoot. Same as on the Franklin Tower, which is another skyscraper I climbed. It's maybe even my hardest challenge yet. The Franklin Tower. It's the skyscraper I climbed with really wide ledges, and so I was barefoot on this one because the same problem. It was not grippy enough with shoes, and even like if I tried to extend my feet as much as I could, it was not possible. Like it was not grippy enough.
There's a video I want to show. It's down at the bottom, Caleb. It says, "When did you decide to climb down to the hook?" This is you climbed a crane here. And, and then you lowered down to the hook. Was that the plan all along?
Yeah.
Like, when did you decide to do that?
So that's actually that's pretty easy, to be honest. Like, it doesn't require much strength, but I had fun like going back up on the cable without using my feet, so just my hands like this on the cable. And that actually was the idea of my friend Leo. I gotta give credit to him. It was his idea.
So you knew when you climbed up there you were gonna lower onto the hook. That wasn't like a last minute idea.
Yeah, that was our idea, But the thing is that before I did something much harder on this crane, but it was positioned differently. It was more like this, and I was able to like go down the whole crane using the cable, not just 5 meters, like the whole 30 or 40 meters crane with the cable, Mission Impossible style, with both of my feet on the cable and both my hands on the cable, just going down like this. And then I was frustrated because the crane moved, so this was not possible. I mean, it was still possible, but it became much easier. Like the crane was much smaller, so it was not much interesting. So I had the idea of Leo had the idea of doing this instead, which is it's a money shot, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Thanks.
Alexis, have you done any climbs and just you see something weird like on a ledge somewhere? There's like a gold watch or a bracelet or an earring or a bird's nest, or have you ever seen some shit and you're like, how did this get here?
Yeah. So I think I've seen a Coca-Cola bottle.
Of course.
They're everywhere.
I was climbing the Sky Milia in Barcelona, which is a hotel, 100 meters and 120 meters, and about in the middle there's a Coke bottle that's been here maybe like who knows for like years, maybe like
window cleaner.
I don't know, like maybe 10 years, maybe 20 years, and you can see it's no bottle too. So, and I have no idea how we end up here.
Do you think the window cleaner left it there?
Maybe that's a big possibility because I know that it's not going to get out. It's like it has been placed there because basically the Sky Mila is like this. You climb big, you pinch big piece of metal, and it's behind those piece of metal. So it's not here like by mistake. Somebody put it here. It's actually not easy to put it here, and it's not going to go out. So I don't know.
Is it still there?
I think, yeah.
You left it.
I didn't touch it, but maybe some other guy did.
Wow.
And I've seen also bird nests around the middle, like 100 meters high, when I was around the middle of the NG Tower. It's really easy to climb skyscrapers, and sometimes there are big places where you can find like 3 pieces of metal like this, and it's every 3 meters. And a bird built a nest on the thing, on the top of this thing, and it's a clever idea because it's not moving.
Have you been in any movies? Have you been asked to do any commercials? Have you been? Is there any work that's come out of this?
So I would love to do stunts for movies because I could do climb stuff, but I could also do like parkour stuff, jumping from a rooftop to another, stuff like that. So I would love to. For now, I'm doing a movie documentary that will be out maybe in 2023 or 2024. We're shooting this with a company that's called the Vladar Company. Now we're not we have a few sequences to shoot, but I can't wait for this movie to be made and to be out. And there's also another documentary, a Vice documentary, that should be out in February or March.
Okay. Don't get too close to those guys, the Vice guys.
Why?
They have a virus in their mind. They're sick. They're sick people. They're what we call in the United States woke. Be very careful around those guys. Don't let that disease catch you.
But
disease catch you.
No disease can catch me. But
okay.
The thing is that about Vice is that there's a lot of Vice is a huge company. There's Vice News, Vice, and they have a lot of stuff that you talk about on social media. But they also have really good documentaries about cartel.
I hear you. I didn't mean to shit on your documentary. I just wanted you to know. I don't want you to get sick. I don't want you. It's spreading across the United States now. We're waiting for it to go away.
Yeah, I'm not getting sick.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Good. Next thing you know, you'll be feeling sorry for yourself. Is there a building that you're afraid even to think of, but you want to think of it? Is there a building you're like, fuck, that thing has to be done? Like, what about this Transamerica building in San Francisco? This one that's pointy like this.
So yeah, I have a building that I have in mind, but the thing is that I know I can do it, but now the question is how much effort am I going to put in this project so I'm sure to survive? Now that's the question.
And this building, when you think of a building, give me I'm sure there's more than you can talk about, but give me some of the idea. What are the things you have to think about? You're obviously not worried about the police, so we'll just scratch that. But it's the windows, it's the weather, it's the What is it that would what would make a building so hard that like, oh shit, this one's going to take a special?
So I would say there are three things that could change a building's difficulty. The first one is the movements by themselves. You know, are they difficult? Do they require a lot of energy? Are they hard? Are they technical? So that's the first thing, is that are the movements hard? Are the movements
Meaning,
tiring?
and to give an example of that for people, I see in some climbs you're pushing your feet out, as opposed to some climbs you're not. So that's a different technical move. Like it's almost like I never do that movement in my life. I never push my legs out.
Yeah.
But I actually see you doing that in some climbs. I'm like, holy shit, that looks scary.
Not on this one, but on other climbs, yeah.
Okay, so that's what you mean by the technicality or the difficulty, like that. That one, it's almost like you're wedging out, right?
On this one, like the handholds are really small. Same for the feet. So that's the main difficulty.
Okay. Sorry, I interrupted. So there's three things.
No problem.
Yeah.
So there's that. Like, is it hard? For example, on my last climb, the climb itself was not too hard, but the final part was really sketchy. Like I said, like I have to push with my feet and my hands at the same time, try to get up and not lose balance. And plus, I didn't have the occasion to train this beforehand. So that was really sketchy. So that's one of the factors that can make a building hard. The second one is how can I rest? How can I deal with my energy levels? So for example, my last climb was not, the movements on my last climb was not hard, you know, by themselves. Especially when I was barefoot, I had a good grip, it was okay. But I had almost no opportunity to rest. I was able to let go one hand for a quick moment, just to chalk up, you know, in my chalk bag behind my back, and then had to go back to climbing again. So the climb was not too hard, not too tiring, but I had almost no opportunity to rest. Still have an opportunity to let go one hand, which is already really good. But
so if it's a tall building, muscular fatigue.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where muscular fatigue can be a problem, especially if the movements are hard and requires a lot of energy. And the last factor is the height of the building. So for example, it would be okay for me to climb a building that is really high if the movements are medium hard and there's pretty good rest. It will be okay for me to climb a building that is not too high if the movements are not too hard and if I don't have any rest. What it would be really hard is to climb a building that is really high, that have absolutely no opportunity to rest, and the movements within this climb being hard. So that would be like the hardest challenge. And there's this building in France that I want to do that is really high. It's 200 meters. There's absolutely no rest whatsoever. You can't even like stop. You just have to start and keep going until you reach the top. Plus, the climb by itself is pretty technical, pretty sketchy, and pretty energy requiring, you know. So yeah, that's.
When you say rest, how long is rest? Like a place where you can stand for a minute, 60 seconds?
No. But I mean, that would be a pretty good rest. But for example, on the Montparnasse Tower or Total Tower, I can let go one hand and stay 1 minute with one hand like this and one hand that is being, being like
let the blood get back in there.
Rested.
In and out.
Exactly. So I can just rest a little bit my hands. On my last climb, I was able to let go one hand, but only for 10 seconds, not more.
Crazy. Alexis, thank you so much for your time. I have one question, one final question. These climbers who've become really famous, like doing the stuff at Yosemite in the United States, or the ones who are doing these free climbs. How do they? Do you know them, and what is your interaction like with these guys? What do they think about what you're doing?
So I don't know too much about like what Arnold thinks about what I'm doing. I guess I know he's not hostile to urban climbing because he had thought about doing Taipei 101 free solo, so that was a possibility for him to do. So
that's a building.
Yeah, and I think it's a building in Asia, and I think he's open-minded, but maybe the fact that I'm only doing this, not in my training, of course, in my training, like 80% of my training is rock climbing, regular, classic, old school rock climbing. But the fact that I only show urban climbing would make me like not a real climber for some people. So I don't know if Arnold would be like cool with me for this or not. But I know like there's a famous climber called Magnus Midbow, and he really likes what I'm doing, and we actually made a video together. So I know
Wow.
a lot of climbers are open-minded. You know, I'm cool. They are cool with that because they also understand that I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I'm training regular climber. You know, I'm a climber like them. So that's cool. There's a bunch of people champions in France, bouldering champions that blocked me on Instagram because.
Oh,
Almost right to the end.
Someone blocked him on Instagram. Why would you block that dude?
I remembered him talking about it. I can't remember if I was what I was watching with it or if it was even him, but they were talking about the difference between the rock climbers and why they're saying like why they kind of hate on those guys is because those guys just have repetition. So like the window is always the same window. Right. So you climb the first two and then it's just basically rinse and repeat all the way up. As opposed to the rock climbing is much more dynamic because there's no one area that's exactly alike.
I was going to ask him one more question too. I wonder if he sees every building as climbable. Is that building the Burj Khalifa, that one that the CrossFitters ran up the other day? Is that the crown jewel?
Right.
I'm gonna tell him WhatsApp.
Dude, that one on the crane was
no worries,
gnarly.
brother. Can't wait. We will stay in touch. Talk to you soon.
Oh, is he
He's
back?
back.
Oh, he is.
Maybe.
Oh,
All right, we will
Connection
talk to you
is
sooner
back.
than I thought. Hey, okay, last question. Sorry, I said that was last question. Here's the real last. Oh, so you were saying someone blocked you on Instagram, like some rock climber dude blocked you? Alexis, can you hear me? Alexis Landot. Alexis. No.
I heard. It's lagging.
It's lagging. Okay. Hey, thank you so much for your interview.
I don't know what's going on with my connection.
Don't worry. You were fantastic, and we will be in touch. Hope to talk to you again in another 6 months. Thank you so much for your time. You're a fascinating human being. Peace and love. What's the background music? I know. I just picture dudes in there in France, like rock climbing, smoking little skinny cigarettes and like sipping their espressos. That's probably like a record player. The Chinese shut down his WhatsApp if they've heard
awesome.
enough.
Huawei.
The Burj doesn't have anything to grab. Oh, come on. All of a sudden, Tyler, you're an expert. Come on.
Everything's got something to grab.
That's what your wife said to you, Tyler. Just because your wife said, Tyler, you got nothing to grab. Don't project that on the Burj, Tyler.
All right, I gotta run to you guys.
You're the man. Later, brother.
Dude, that was awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's great.
shit.
Oh, do we have anyone on tomorrow?
No.
Oh, I don't even have to do I'm done. I
Huh?
have to hang out with Caleb, and then I don't have a podcast today.
Yeah. So that worked out.
Hey, have you noticed the thumbnails I'm making on Canva?
They're fucking awesome.
I
I
haven't
even
taught me how to do that.
one of them caught my eye. This is when I knew it was working because one of them caught my eye and I didn't know it was the show.
Oh,
The
awesome.
child obesity one. I was
Yes.
scrolling and I saw it and I was like,
Yes.
oh wait, what is this? And I looked and I was like, oh shit, this is a clip from the show. So that's when you know it's effective. Like I didn't even know, but yeah, the thumbnails you've been making have been off the hook.
Hey, I want to say one thing to you real quick.
Yeah.
So Susan and I were hanging out here in Newport last time, and I do this workout all the time. I tell you guys about it. I do 10 burpees on the minute for 10 minutes. And fucking Sousa's like, I'll do it with you. And then so Sousa did 10 minutes. He did the 10 burpees. And then while I would rest, he did 10 air squats. So at the end of it, I'm dying. And I did 100 burpees, but he had done 100 burpees and 100 air squats. So yesterday, I don't know if you saw this workout that Hiller put up the other day, but he did max air squats in 10 minutes. And I just played the video. He actually suggested it to me. He goes, just play the video and you can do it with me. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then my wife came in here and I got 274 without stopping. And she took breaks and she got 301.
Yeah, sometimes that works out better that way. If you could just move with a little bit quicker, shake it out, take your break, move a little bit quicker, it ends
Yeah.
up being overall better sometimes than just a consistent, steady movement.
Yeah, I was steady. And I would look over and I would try to keep up with her and I would start feeling some crazy burn. I'm like, okay, back off. Anyway, what do you think about that workout? Good workout? I'm pretty sore. I did it last night before I went to bed.
10 minutes max air squats?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great workout.
Yeah, I'm pretty sore.
But it's probably going to jack you up. You might even be more sore tomorrow.
Yeah, I will.
Right where your butt and your hamstring meet?
Yeah.
Yeah. That always gets me there too.
Right where my butt and my hamstring meet.
Yeah, that's the official anatomy terms there. All right, guys, I got to run to the fire department.
Okay, do that workout. I want to know what you get. He got 329. Do that workout.
He got 329?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I just got to game it and get 330.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Later, guys.
Okay, bye. Holy shit. I did 10 burpees every minute on the minute for an hour. Oh my God. Oh my God, dude. I would die. I wouldn't be sore if I was on TRT. Good point. Yeah, man. Oh, the bear crawls. Yeah. Hey, I wasn't making fun of bear crawls yesterday. Bear crawls are an amazing, amazing workout. I think crawling is a fantastic workout. What I was saying is that like, if you're competing, if you have a choice, if Caleb has to do handstand walk and I get to do bear crawls and we're competing, we're now not competing. You know, if there's $1,000 on the line, yeah, there I am. I had done that 2 days before and I was so sore and I'm like, I'm just going to try to do it again. Yeah, that's at the end. It's probably, I'm guessing it's probably 60 yards.
That looks rough.
Oh, dude.
There was one time when I was trying out for the soccer team in high school. We had like these like spec op guys come in and like do a training with us. And they were like, one day they just showed up and were like, all right, you're bear crawling everywhere you go. This was a freshman in high school. And they're like, you're bear crawling everywhere you go. So we bear crawl from one field to the next, and then from that field to the next field. And then they're like, all right, and bear crawl around the field. And then there was a track and he bear crawled on the track. And they're like, all right, you need to do a 400-meter bear crawl for time. It was like probably 3 hours of bear crawls. It was miserable.
That's funny. I told Hiller, I'm like, dude, I'm fucking such a badass. I bear crawled 60 yards. He's like, dude, like what? He's like, I've bear crawled 400 yards in a workout that was an hour long, and that was just a piece of it. I was like, fuck me. Like
it's hard, dude.
Oh, it's so hard. My traps are so sore to the touch. Damn. Oh man. But I just made sure I didn't stop. I was like, you can do it. Just go just one step at a time. I'm sometimes I get so yeah. Not that red, but a cyst. Sorry, when I'm speaking to a fellow father about kid sickness.
Ugh. Gross. Kid sickness is probably the worst to deal with. Whenever I used to teach swim lessons, kids would just show up to the pool just snotty and sneezing and coughing, and I was like, can you just take your kid home? Because I do not want to teach that kid.
Are you using warm compress? Every 2 hours.
Warm compress solves everything. If there was everything I ever had wrong with me, my mom would just be like, did you use a warm compress?
Warm compress. Okay. So tomorrow we have a show. I'm pretty proud of the what happens if I click on a show that's Past live
You just-
streams. Oh yeah. So this is, I made this. I think this is tomorrow's show. Oh, dude, we're gonna get Alex Stein on again. I'm so excited.
I saw that. I was stoked about it.
Wait, look at this. So it says, "What's going on at the morning chalk up?" And it shows like Justin LaFranco sitting in a toilet bowl with like Dave Castro reaching his hand out to him. And then it shows Lauren Khalil like as the queen of the morning chalk up, and then it shows like Brian, Tommy, and Patrick are, because they left.
Yeah. We cut off.
Yeah, that's pretty.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In Canva it's kind of ghetto. It's like you feel like you're a little kid just like drawing with crayons. It's just like
But it's so easy. It's so easy.
So easy.
I just throw a bunch of shit on there and I'm like, yes.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
so you've been
perfect.
using it too. You've been fooling with it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty proud of that. Let me see what I was pretty proud of that one with the who gets reparations, and I put the black and white reel. Let me see what other ones I've made. Oh, I made this one last night too. This is Alex Stein, and then it's like a dumpster fire with Dave Portnoy and AOC's head coming out.
That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty excited. I will kill anyone who sends me designs in Canva. I'm sure it is ghetto, but man, is it fun. It is fun. It looks like you could make like videos in there too, like stuff that's animated. I haven't fooled around with that.
Oh yeah.
Yet. Okay. So tomorrow tomorrow's Thursday. I don't see. Oh. Is tomorrow Thursday? Tomorrow's Wednesday.
Tomorrow's Wednesday.
Okay, so we have a live call-in show in the morning, and then Thursday, I don't know what we're doing in the morning, but in the evening, I'm doing a show with J.R. Howell and Taylor Self from SMTP Programming. We're going to just take a look at the Legends programming that just went on over there. How is the talk at the boys' school? Oh, dude, so awesome! I'm going to try to get you links. So awesome! What a cool honor to speak to those boys. What a cool thing! It was through Matt Boudreau. He owns a bunch of acting academies. I think he's partners with who's the guy? The Ranger fighter, UFC fighter.
Tim Kennedy.
Tim Kennedy's his partner over there. Boudreau's so hooked up. God, man, what a great dude. What a fulfilling life. And yeah, he invited me to speak to a group of kids ages 10 through maybe 18.
Wow.
And I tried to leave them with some practices that they could practice on their own to cultivate, a more self-awareness. And I talked to them about, keeping it real, and it was cool. And I think I only said the word shit like 3 times. I was really trying not to swear. I was pretty proud.
A new record. Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I didn't drop a single F-bomb. I'm gonna try to get a copy of that. I'd love to publish that on my own site if I could. So I'm gonna tell you, if you guys up for one more story? You got time, Caleb?
Always. Yep.
So I saw this on Corey's Instagram account, and it brought back some memories. I'll tell you about in a second. You don't have to play this whole thing. It's number 299. And we'll just play the beginning of it. When we get to the part that's relevant to my story, we'll just hit pause. But it's about pedophilia and shit like that in Hollywood. But it's this is a trip. This first thing is a trip. This is Demi Moore like kissing some little kid, it looks like a little kid to me. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that dude's Benjamin Button, but I don't know. But here we go.
Tell you that the number one problem in Hollywood was and is and always will be pedophilia. It's the biggest problem for children in this industry. Nobody talks about pedophilia. It's a big secret. And it's
So I don't know if you guys know that when I was a kid, that was like one of the most famous kids in Hollywood. I forget his name, like Corey Feldman or Corey something Haynes. And I think he was in the movie Lost Boys. And he was He was everywhere. But anyway, go on.
It's widespread. Oh yeah, I was surrounded by them when I was 14 years old.
Video surfaced in 2017 of actor Demi Moore kissing a 15-year-old boy.
I don't know. Maybe just because I love them all and I hope they all love me. We do love them. And I love them.
Here's Hollywood movie producer Victor Salva, who produced movies like Jeepers Creepers 3, Powder, and Clown House.
During the making of Clown House, Victor Salva asked 12-year-old Nathan Forrest Winters to stay after filming for extra rehearsals. Salva then forced Nathan to receive and give oral sex while he filmed it.
Salva served 15 months, then went on to produce Powder.
Okay, pause. So that movie Clown House, I was an extra in, and they set up a carnival in Concord, California. And I went there with a friend, and we were extras. And I'll never forget Victor Salva. That was the director of the movie, and he would always gather all the kids around. And he would always be like, "Do you want a talking part? Do you want a talking part?" And he would and I was super excited. And I was probably in the 7th or 8th grade. Probably wasn't even firing loads at the time. And for those of you who don't know what that is, for us guys, there's a point where you masturbate and there no semen comes out, but then that's pre-masturbation, pre-firing loads, and then your life's ruined when you start firing loads. You got to deal with that. But I'll never forget, he gathered like 3 of us boys around, and he started telling us, "Now listen, if you boys are going to masturbate, you should always masturbate into a sock." And I remember hearing that story. And him telling me and my buddy's name was Patrick, and it was the star, that kid that was molested. He was there too. And I don't think that movie ever got released, by the way. But anyway, he ended up getting in trouble. And when I would come home and tell my stepmother stories about being on the set of the movie, she would say to me, because there were a bunch of stories I told, she would say, and I don't even think I told her the masturbate in the sock one. I told her less graphic ones. Yes. And I don't know why not a sock. The different discussion. We'll get back to why you might jack off in a sock. Anyway, it was new to me. I'd never even heard of that. But I'm assuming just so you don't have to clean the mess up. Just like you don't have to get out of bed. You just jerk off into a sock and then just throw it off to the side and go to sleep. But she told me, she's like, "Hey, stay away from that guy. Don't be alone with that guy." And I got really angry at her. I'm like, "Don't tell me what the fuck to do." And fucking 6 months later, go figure. That adult was right. My stepmom was right. And that dude went to jail for 15 months. And then he made the movie Powder, which I ended up actually seeing, which was actually kind of an amazing movie. I don't know if you ever saw Powder. Yeah. So I was like, wow, small world. I crossed paths with that pedophile. See, Jiggy, all you needed is a little explanation. You're like, I see.
Yeah,
there you go. Vindicate has never used a sock. He doesn't have to because he has so many extra t-shirts laying around the house. My chest is tightening so bad talking about this stuff. I understand. Anyway, that is the show for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. That's it. Nothing else. We will see you tomorrow for the live call-in show. And thanks for basically we're doing so many live call-in shows because it takes a little bit of stress off of me. Not that I'm stressed when we have guests, but it requires more work on my end, and I'm on vacation. One more story. Do you want there to be masturbation in it? What's the topic? Okay, here's one more. Let's play 301. Do you guys remember when there was that footage going around where they were showing all those dead bodies from COVID in India? And then someone came over and pushed one of the bags, and they were just body bags filled with straw, and it was all a fucking publicity stunt. Do you remember that shit? Don't forget that shit. And here's another publicity stunt. This is just kind of like, don't forget what a fucking scam this whole thing was. I'm not saying it's you idiots who are telling me, oh, Sevan thinks COVID's a hoax. I don't think it's a hoax. I think the remedy was a scam. I think the way of calling it a pandemic was a scam. I think the propaganda around it was a scam. Do I think that there's actually a virus that they've called COVID? Yeah, I suspect that that's 100% accurate. Would I bet my kid's life on it? No. Absolutely not. Google around and try to find the virus, by the way. You know, one of the reasons I heard before we play this is that they can never show you the virus, is that the virus is so small that it has no color. And I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I think it obviously has to do with something about how it refracts light. But there is no way of actually seeing that virus. Yeah, the scamdemic, yeah. That's different than thinking COVID's a hoax. You idiots who say stuff like that, or being anti-vax, you idiots. No, you are pro-drug extremists insisting that kids take drugs. Okay, action. Watch this. This is pretty funny.
What are you, COVID cleaner? COVID cleaner? Are you for real? What the fuck? That's something out of fucking... Hey, bro, do you really have to wear that? Do you really have to wear that? What are you doing? Why are you taking photos? You're not even doing it. You're just doing that for paparazzi. Why are you doing this? You're not even cleaning.
That guy's posing in
You're
a
not
suit.
even cleaning. You're just taking photos. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're not even cleaning. What are you doing? Is this for the media? Is this for the media? Who are you? What are you doing? You're taking photos for the media.
Propaganda
Why
content.
are you dressed like that? Why are you dressed like that? You're taking photos for the media. What? Helping. She's not doing nothing. Get all here to make fear in people's heads.
Yeah.
What
Isn't
the
that
fuck?
interesting? They're creating fear, but people are considering it helping.
You're just saying that as a passerby. You shouldn't even watch this. What just happened?
Pandemic influencer. Oh, that's a good term. That's a great term. I don't know what's going on with Gucci over there, but I'm hearing that Gucci is now is gonna take the way of, you know, that other company that started with the B, Balenciaga or whatever that one is.
Balenciaga.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are following that story. That story just gets creepier and creepier. But I guess Gucci's going down the same path. I heard it yesterday on the news, and then I started Googling around about Gucci, and holy shit. Sell your Gucci shit. Switch to Prada or something. It's time.
Stop buying designer bullshit.
Oh my goodness. Poor Gucci. Bye-bye. That's why I like a strong American brand like CrossFit. All right, guys. Balenciaga. Yeah, that one. Yes, everyone go listen to Sally by Gucci Crew. Brandon Waddell corrected me on that. Roxanne was by UTFO. I appreciate that. Okay. Love you guys. See you guys tomorrow. Thanks for joining in. Thank you, Alexis Landot for coming on the show. Matt Souza, thank you. Caleb Beaver.